qu'on passe à la toute dernière présentation, j'invite tout de suite, voilà, M. DanielPaez, qui est professeur et directeur du groupe de géomatique à l'Université de Los Andes, en Colombie. Il a travaillé pour de grands cabinets de conseil en gestion pour le secteur public et le milieu universitaire. Et ses principaux champs d'intérêt comme chercheur et professeur sont l'administration des terres et l'analyse spatiale. Il a mené des recherches donc dans plusieurs domaines, notamment en changement climatique, transport et aménagement du territoire et développement communautaire. Alors maintenant, c'est la dernière présentation, nous revenons dans l'hémisphère, donc nous revenons en Amérique du Sud, en Colombie précisément. Comment cartographier l'impossible? Un système de gestion foncière participatif pour les peuples indigènes en Colombie. Alors, voilà un beau défi également. Monsieur Paez, c'est à vous.
Merci. Thank you for that introduction and the opportunity to share with you. And as the last presenter, I would like to use the opportunity to thank Françoise for her extraordinary role as moderator and keep us in time and everything. So please join me in thanking her extraordinary job. Right. I bring you 3 ideas today. The first one, we need to be concerned that rapid changes that are threatening the most important assets that we have in our world. The second message, we can be optimistic. There are things we can do. All of us, as surveyors, geomatics, we can do a lot to solve those problems and solve them in the short term. And finally, let's not forget what is our destination. So let me start with my concerns. Colombia is a mega diverse country. There are very few of them. In Colombia, you can find more bird species than the whole of Europe. It's the second more biodiverse country of the whole world. It's a small country in South America, but holds a lot of the assets that we have in our biodiversity. And the big challenge we have at the moment is that biodiversity is under threat. This is a study published in the Science journal, and it tells us the species that are in danger. And you can see a very concerning red spot in South America that covers a significant part of Colombia. So, why are we having this situation? Well, the answer is always land. We have been having a conflict of over 50 years, a territorial conflict for land. And what situation we have today? Look at this map. All orange areas you can see in the map are areas that do not exist in our territory, in our system. They're supposed to be part of Colombia, but we don't have record of who owns it, who is exploiting it, or what kind of land uses we have in them. And they cover a significant proportion of the Amazon basin, probably the most important river we have in the world, and one of the most important jungles with very valuable biodiversity. And we've been working hard on our land administration. For the past 10 years, an estimated $200 million were invested just on the system to try to improve it. And in 10 years of work, only 7% of area was incorporated into the system. If we keep at this pace, if we keep doing what we're doing today, it's going to take us 112 years to complete the whole country. And even worse, we need over 7 billion in resources to be able to protect, to know, to understand those valuable lands that we have in South America. And what is the consequences of not having a land administration? One of the big things is there is a very scary correlation between poverty and lack of land administration. You can see the darker areas of the map correlate very well with areas that we don't have land administration. Therefore, we have not only areas that we don't know, but in those areas are Colombians that need basic services and they're not being provided. Not only we have extraordinary ecological value in those areas, not only we have a lack of land administration, in those areas is where the poor people live and they are indigenous. So our traditions, the first people that occupied the land, also converting in that point. And my concern is augmented with the fact that in those lands, today, we have named them as the prime source of resources for mining. Today, Colombia considers that those areas, and in particular these areas, part of the Amazon basin, are the next area for exploration of mining. It sounds to me like a recipe for disaster. We have pressures from a valuable resource, which we all hope as Colombians will provide sustainable development and a continuous economic growth. But that resource is located when we don't have land administration, when there is very few people that knows the land better than the locals, but the locals have not even their basic needs met. And moreover, they are sitting on probably one of the most valuable ecosystems in the whole planet. So I'm concerned. I'm concerned because not having a land administration can solve our problems today, will give us a very challenging situation in the near future. We're not talking about 50 years. We're talking about the next 5 years. And as geomatic experts, I think we have a responsibility, and most importantly, a lot of the tools that can help us with it. So the situation is concerning, and I want to introduce you to the case study we did, and trying to move to my second message. There's a lot of things we can do together. And this particular case study I want to show, it's located in one of those corners of the jungle, and this is a fantastic photo I got to take when I visited the area. And you can see here, it's in a, sorry, I'm going to go back, it's in an area called Baupés, part of a state called Mitu. And it's a very interesting area because it has a very strong feeling for all Colombians. Mitu, it has been and hopefully will be the only capital of a state that was taken by the guerrillas. It was the only one that was captured for them and held for a few days. We had to use airports in Brazil to be able to send troops to recover it. So we decided to go because of the history that offered us. And we started to go, and we found a lot of difficulties. There was no much government support. There were no public services. You know, you have to fly to 2 airports in local areas, cost you a fortune to get there. And when you get there, there is no public transport, there is no facilities. But we got there, and we thought this is a great opportunity because in Mitu, there are sitting, the people of Mitu, the whole state has 30,000 people, the city has 15,000 people, and they are sitting on the second largest mine of coltan in the world. Coltan is mineral, very useful to develop technology because it has high conductivity. So we thought it's important to understand the land and see how they see it. So we went there, and this is my second message, we developed a project that we call intelligent mapping. Intelligent mapping is about solving the problems that we need to solve now in an effective way. And what is the outcome we want? We want tell a story, intelligent map tells a story of a place today for the needs of tomorrow. So tomorrow there's an opportunity for mining. I don't oppose mining. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for Colombia. We do it in a sustainable way, respecting the land, respecting our biodiversity, creating an environment that allows the land to happen. So we have been hearing already what we call the components of intelligent mapping. We heard already about social administration and all the good things that can be done. I know I'm really thrilled with the prospect of having Map My Rights up and running because it's exactly what we need. It's empowering the society. I'm not going to talk a lot about it. We heard a fantastic presentation by Clarice, and there's a lot of tools that are happening already where you empower the people. I'm going to talk about two things. The first one is about community mapping, how we go about collecting that information, and we call it recording knowledge. And the second one is how we use new technologies to do it. On the first one, perhaps some of you that interact with Aboriginal communities, so people that have traditional land tenures, will be very useful. The second one, I hope it works for everyone, because I think most of you as surveyors at some point will be exposed to that technology. So let's talk about the first one. So the first one, it's about recording it through a process, knowledge and tradition, resources, creating the boundaries, reducing land fragmentation, document specific data, and most importantly, propose solutions. And we are inviting the Colombian government to incorporate in its land administration a community mapping approach. So we don't take us 112 years to do it. We can have in the next 5 years enough information to record what's going on in our country. And community mapping is about previous knowledge, basic information, circumstances that surround the towns, and so on. In Colombia, like in many places, I'm sure, around the globe, I'm sure, experiences also in Nigeria, like the one we just heard. People relate to land very different to what we do. They don't need fences. They don't need barriers. They have a concept that is very different to us because they're based in two very different principles. One, unlimited supply. Can you imagine being in a place that is unlimited supply? I was one day visiting the chief of one of these tribes. No, he was sitting in his big chair. Yes. And I said, oh, no, I want to ask you a question. Tell me, what's your territory? What is the area you cover by your tribe? And he will look, said, go outside, climb the little hill, and whatever you can see belongs to this community. So imagine that, converting it to coordinates. So I thought, well, maybe what we need to do is working with excellent work that Michael Berry has done in Calgary University, which is about the story of the land. So I said, oh, really? So how often do you go up there and check how's your land going? How often do you go fishing in those areas that you don't see from that hill? And then we start developing a story and incorporating with them. It was very important for us to see that relationship they have with land and understanding how, for example, the chief one day said to you, hey, all right, you can farm in that area, use it as long as you need it, but when you die, we'll give it to someone else. It might not be your kids. You might give it another land for them. But it's that flexibility, that relationship with land that they live with, unlimited supply. And second is there's no need for barriers. You don't need a fence. You don't need a boundary. You just need a chief. You just tell the chief, hey, is this my land? Yes. Can I move there? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I'll farm there. And that is a really important difference that we need to understand. That's part of the culture, how they live in the land. So we capture it. And we did through a process that have followed multiple steps. And those steps end in a very interesting process that we have recorded with videos, recordings, and very valuable maps for us in where they draw little boundaries or resources or rivers and that allow us to map them and understand how they interact with that land. That is what we call participatory community. The second one is unmanned aerial vehicles. I also like to call them unauthorized, unsafe, and surprising. These are a technology we've been investing a lot, and I'm sure some of you have some questions and ideas. And before I get into my presentation, we've been exploring with them for a few years, doing a lot of work in them. I would like to hear one word of what people know about unmanned aerial vehicles. What people know about unmanned aerial vehicles. One word. Throw me one word. Amazing. Cool. Yeah, they are cool. They are amazing tool to have at your office, though. What else? Death. Wow. Yeah. I haven't had significant accident, Robin, but there's things to talk in there. What other things? New, perhaps? Adventurous? Expensive? Difficult? So, we've been experimenting with them, and we have a team in my research team. There's 40 of us, and there's like 12 of them that we dedicated to develop drones or unmanned UAVs. And we do it for many purposes. No? We have urban mapping, and you'll see some of the examples that we've been doing. And basically, for really quickly to give you a quick overview, there's two types of them. There's the ones that are rotors, like little helicopters, and there are ones that are planes. Rotors are very versatile, easy to fly, small areas, photo and video, no problem. They're less accuracy. They will have less accuracy. Fixed wings, large areas. We have managed to cover 300 hectares per hour. Difficult to fly, mainly photos, more accuracy. And before I get into the rest of my detail, I have the golden rule of drones or UAVs. Whatever the salesman tells you, you divide by 2. If he tells you that it flies for 30 minutes, it means 15. If it covers 300 square hectares, it means 150. If it can fly at 1,000 feet over the ground, it means 500. And accuracy, if it tells you it can do 5 centimeters accuracy, you are lucky if you do 20. So look at what we can achieve with it. To make it as part of this solution, what we need for all the most important assets we have in our world. Look at, for example, at Google Earth, which have helped a lot in many things. No, we order taxis, we can have a pizza order, and so on. Look at the Google Earth photo. Many qualities. They give us from 20, 30 centimeters to even 2-3 meters. And when you take it with a UAV, you can see much more detail. Have a look at the house, for example. You can see what is actually the footprint of the house, the area covered. You can start seeing what kind of facilities they have. Fences are seen more clear. And if you get more experience on it, you can fly much more lower and get a much more accuracy, 2 centimeters pixel accuracy. So you now start seeing what material they're using, how many colors they have, and so on. So you get a much more precise information. You can achieve it with drones. Now, flying, planning, and execution tools, this is just screenshots of the tools we have. They have a lot of different opportunities. They are all technological. Yes, they are automatic. No, they are not reliable. We have crashed multiple times, and a lot of the times I insist to people, when you get into drones, first thing you think, you're going to become a pilot. RC pilot, but you need to think, one day you're going to fly it with your fingers, because you're going to have to do it. It's often these beautiful $60,000 drones, they're coming to you to land, and they send you a signal, I lost GPS, sorry. And what do you have to do? Get it on the controls and land it. Data processing, this is interesting because what we do with the photos, it's very fun, it's a lot of fun to fly them, but what we do with it, we divide the process in 3 steps: georeferencing, photogrammetry, and spatial analysis. Let's have a look of the first one of those. And this is photos you take. Look at the difference between a fixed wing, and I will show you next the rotor. Photos are really flat. You can fly them in rural areas and in urban areas, and you have the ability to have multiple types of sensors, just different cameras. So you can have a normal camera, the one that we have in our mobile phones, or you can have an infrared camera, like the one photo that we have in the middle. We have both. And we even have now a multi-spectrum camera, so give us more spectrums like a satellite. This is the difference when you have a multi-rotor. Normally, they have with fish-eye lenses, so it has a different perspective on it. It can fly on different angles, so the photos are not looking at precisely above, but you can fly them in very different environments. No, supporting what Gavin told us yesterday, it is reality, it happens. We give you true 3D coordinates. 3D coordinates. No, you do have digital evaluation model, digital surface models, and digital terrain models developed from it. So you do actually get a map. That is not just a simple map. You have a 3D, and you can use it in a 3D environment. And just to finish in this part, we can show it in many different ways. We can fly it in many different ways and give us a lot of flexibility. And I'm going to show you a very quick video of how it actually happens. And while we're doing that, you notice the different characteristics they have and the different way we launch those planes. And something very important, you get actually results that are very, very interesting and very amazing if you want to do something quick. While that video is going, I want to finish by saying there is a big challenge. And Colombia and many other countries cannot wait 112 years. We need something today. We need something that in 5 years will protect for all of us, not just Colombians, that extraordinary biodiversity we have in our country. And I think technologies and strategies and working with the community and especially empowering will help us doing it. And we want to fly high. And we all should think that we're going to fly high, we're going to go very far. But let's not forget something. We all need to support each other so the world can achieve sustainable development. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Merci. Merci beaucoup, Senior Paez. Alors, je vous invite, oui, à venir vous asseoir près de M. Arancibia.